in terms of the effect that drill music has on on the culture, on the neighborhoods, especially where I'm from in the Bronx. Everyone's trying to figure out how to deal with the situation with the violence being fueled by this music. It just needs more creative artists to be at the forefront. And there's a lot of creative artists that are making music that's not gangster in New York right now. I go to shows in Brooklyn, and there's a market for those type of artists. It's not meant to replace drill. It's always going to be a place for gangster hip hop in the culture. So it's not about replacing that, but it's about giving people options, giving the kids options, you know? Because when artists like Pharrell, Kanye, Kid Cudi, when these artists were at their biggest, it gave more kids options to be like, you know what? I don't have to listen to the gangster shit all the time. I could start gravitating towards this more. And you know what? This actually is more, I can relate to this more. I started to gravitate more towards the creative music because I seen it real time and right in front of my eyes in the neighborhoods I was at, the dark consequences of where that could get you. And when I saw that, I said, you know what? I think I want to start rocking with this Pharrell and Kanye shit and start getting into fashion and start being more proud to be a skateboarder and not trying to hide that shit. And start experimenting with my style and hanging out in Soho more, where it's not a bunch of hood drama. It's not guns going off. It's not people getting jumped and robbed. Let me go start hanging out in Soho more. It's not just nothing but drug dealing movies in the movie theater. They're not all the same type of movie. You go to a movie theater, you might have options. You might be able to go see a superhero movie. You might be able to go see a sci-fi movie. There's another one that's maybe a romance movie. There's another one that's horror. There's another movie that's drama. That's maybe about a real life story. People love all of these movies, and a lot of these movies, including sci-fi superhero movies, are selling millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. So you gotta put the same mentality towards music and understand that the masses, the majority of people, there's a small amount of people that know exactly the type of music they want to listen to. The majority of the masses don't know what they like. They just like what everyone else likes. And they'll find a way to make sense of why they like it. Oh, because the beat is nice. Oh, because it's catchy. Oh, because it is. But they don't realize that they like it because everyone else likes it. Around 2004 to 2010, it was a huge turning point where all the wearing throwbacks and the big ass fitteds and all of that was kind of getting slowly phased out. And what people like to call backpack rap, and I don't really consider it backpack rap, but it was the new age of just artists, rappers that weren't scared to be themselves and didn't feel like they had to be street. Kanye was a huge factor in that, especially when he had released Graduation and it was going up against 50 and they had this whole big thing on MTV and everything and it outsold 50. That was a huge turning point. And I was outside during that time. I was in the Bronx. I was already huge into being not only myself, but being experimental in my fashion, in my music taste, in the music I listened to. And as I got older, I started to find more and more value in wearing rare clothing. You know, my pops had gotten me into Supreme in '98. So I started to see the value in wearing rare clothing because I was already into collecting Pokemon cards, collecting rare action figures as a kid. So when I was a teenager, I started to see fashion as that. I started to see personality as that. I started to see lifestyle as that. And I already kind of caught the idea that you give off a sense of value when you're rare, when you're not like everybody else. But most people are scared to be rare because it takes people a while to try to understand you. You don't fit in as quickly. But then when you do fit in, you have a higher value. You got to think about it. When they make sneakers, the sneakers that they mass produce are not going to be worth on the resale market as much as a pair of sneakers that they might only be 300 pair of. And now that's why you have a huge culture with the resale market. Same thing with Pokemon cards. Same thing with anything rare. It was baseball cards before that, and now it's, yeah, even clothing. People that collect Rick Owens pieces and stuff like that. People that collect Raf Simons or whatever other brands that were rare pieces, and they end up, in a vintage collection. They're gonna be worth more money later on.